By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, race fans, and man, oh man, I've waited a long time to come back on here and say that. After a 6-month hiatus, we are back here in the booth, running the cameras, producing the show, and luckily we have a very familiar face here on TrueSimProductions joining us. He's normally on the other side of the camera, though. He's normally a driver we talk to because we're interviewing the top 3. Well, tonight he decided to step in the booth with me. Mr. Chris Carroll, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I am happy to be back broadcasting with my redneck partner, Tanner Marr.
Right on, right on. We got in here a little late. Let's go ahead and get the grid up so you can see where your favorite person qualified at here tonight. Dalton Creech in the 36, put it on the pole position with a 19.937. Got Christopher Smith in car number 80, starting to his outside, row number 1. Caleb B. Thompson's going to be firing off P3. Jeremy Root sitting P4 with Brandon Elvis in the number 54, starting inside row number 3.
In row number 4, we have Alex Harris and Daniel Sweat. We have Justin Coleman and Scott Smith in row 5. Todd Lamphere and Brandon Pirtle, a newcomer here in Crooked Line Racing, Tanner.
Hoping we're pronouncing your last name right, Pirtle. Larry Bell's going to be firing off in 13th with Joshua Vermillion. He's familiar with these late model stocks. He was struggling a little bit in practice. Actually talked to him. Going to be looking to gain positions whenever we go with green here. He'll be firing off 14th with Chris Sawyer 15th. Frank Barbery's rolling off in the 16th place position.
We have last week's winner, Brian Zimmerman, starting 17th. Anthony Rennick on a penalty. Bradley Hollyfield on a penalty. And Gary Wright and Wesley Whitfield, a couple of newcomers here to Crooked Line Racing. We're looking forward to see what they can do in this league as well.
It's going to be interesting, folks. We do apologize for getting here a little bit late. Let's pull up the race info really quick. We'll go over the keys to tonight's race. Martinsville 100. Get a fuel window tonight, Carol. We were told of about 60 to 63 laps. As always on these short tracks, track position, it is king. It's going to mean everything. And then we also heard from actually Brian Zimmerman, who was pretty high up on the practice chart there last week's winner. He was telling us you really got to protect that right front tire. This is a track that me and you both, we love this track, right? I mean, this is by far my most favorite track on the sim. Let's say you.
Yeah, Martinsville's up there. I like Martinsville. I do all my testing here for tires and stuff when I want to test a new car and figure out what's going on. And there's a lot of other ones, but I think if I had to pick a short track, it'd be Nashville Fairgrounds. I like that place a lot.
That track is sentimental to me, right? It's my home track. And folks watching out on YouTube, I want to thank y'all for tuning in with us. You will notice a black bar at the top. Like I said, we're 6 months out from doing this. We're got some kinks we got to iron out along the way. Tonight we'll be rusty, but just stick with us as these boys are going to go around the track one more time. We got to wait one more lap for that pace car makes that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Remember, Carol, first start of the race is on green, so if you're that man starting on the outside, you're always at a disadvantage here, but at least on this initial start, you do know basically when the leader's got to go.
Yeah, I think you got to try and take advantage of the first start here. You do not want to be caught on the top side here. It's a big freight train of fast guys coming through, and you'll be 12th before you know it, starting second here. So the guys on the outside really got a good restart and try and get into the lane as early as they can on the bottom.
As we got a good looking field of T1S late model stock cars out here tonight. As now, they just got to wait for Barney Fife Jr. to throw that green flag. And green is out. We are off here for 100 laps here tonight at Martinsville. I want to thank T1S Racing as always, for coming on and sponsoring the series. Check them out. As, man, oh man, Dalton Creech just kind of set sail on the start right there.
Yeah, he pushed him up out of the groove. I'm not sure who was on the top lane there. I didn't see a name, but they were giving a shove going into turn one and making sure he got that lead. We're going to see how this plays out with tires and strategy and a whole bunch of stuff happening here at Martinsville. It looks like they're going around in circles, but they are not.
As it looks like the top 7, 8 cars here have single filed out. Well, look, about as far back as you look, looks to be pretty single filed. You got a battle right back here between Chris Sawyer and Gary Wright. Like Gary Wright just kind of gave the position up. That's what you got to almost do here at Martinsville. If you get to battling somebody side by side, you'll lose a tenth and a half to the car in front of you. So if somebody's faster than you behind you, it's usually best early in the race to kind of move over, let them by, regather it, and start the train again.
Yeah, if you want to start this race, you want to be single file and let the race play out a little bit and see who's fast in the long run. The guys that get into trouble, as we're getting into lap traffic already here, Bradley Holyfield must have had a tough start there. The leader is catching him, but you want to let this race play out, Tanner, and pick and choose your spots because it hurts your tires when you're really hammering on it all the time trying to pass guys.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong, the 7 car, he was one of our ones that was forced to start on pit road tonight due to penalty, correct?
Yes, sir. We had 3 starting in the back tonight. He was one of them. Brian Zimmerman was there because he won last week, and I believe Reddick also had a penalty from last week that he's serving.
Got a caution on the speedway. And the way SDK is showing me cautions here, folks, it's going to be tough to see who's at fault or see where the caution's even at on track. It might have been Gary Wright here. So SDK is just kind of telling me everybody blinking in red. Oh, yep, there you have it right there. That's what do you think, Carol? Product of low brake bias? Just
yeah, I think he got in there a little stiff, and he's got that brake bias pretty low. If you look, he gains a couple of car lengths getting into that corner. Yeah, he's just in there a little too deep, and that brake bias is real low, Tenemar.
I want you to see something here. He don't never really turn the wheel to enter the corner, right? That's how you know he's running a really low brake bias here, but just stepped on it a little too much, and ultimately around she went.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue tonight too, man. That brake bias, we had it low at Martinsville in the Supers last week and had a wreck in front of me, and there's no choice but to spin that thing out sometimes. It's too low, and it's sometimes you have to run it to be fast. Other times, you want a little more front brake, but it seems this place a lot of guys run it real low.
What a break for the 7 car, Holyfield, by the way. We saw him. He was he was a lap down, actually, wasn't he? Leader actually eventually got around him, caught a timely caution. Now he is going to be scored back on the lead lap. As we have Kyle Wellman. Kyle Wellman's on pit road. Sorry to talk over you there, but I just noticed got a few takers down pit road. Chris Sawyer, Gary Wright, and Wildman Kyle Wellman elected to bring it down pit lane here.
Yeah, it looks like a few of the guys may be playing a fuel game here, trying to, pit early, and maybe they're thinking a lot of cautions. They might be able to make it to the end. I doubt that, but I mean, it's a viable strategy if you're at the back at this point.
Absolutely. We saw one of the keys to the race, right? Zimmerman told us they could go about between 60 to 63 laps on a normal run, so they are definitely outside that window here, but a few timely cautions and you're goating.
Yeah, I think strategy tonight is going to be really big. When and where you pit, track position at the end is going to be everything. I mean, I think you can be the back right now and use some strategy to get up there and give yourself a chance to win. But I think strategy is going to be the king along with track position tonight.
I do too. One thing I missed last time I was up in the booth calling action, we had choose cone. That is no longer here for Crooked Line Racing. So if you're in second, fourth, or basically if you're an even number, you're starting on the outside here. And I promise you, that's a spot you do not want to be at Martinsville, whether that's on the front row or row 10. So if you're on the outside, you just try to get down as quick as you can. Go ahead.
These cars don't have enough horsepower to fight on the top here, it seems. Running practice with them and driving laps with guys on here when we were here before, it's just too hard to get the track position from the top side. There's not enough power to power by a guy down the straightaway in these. And the Supers is a little different. You can use the horsepower and get your car to rotate in different places, but this track and this car is, you got to be on the bottom of the track. Coming to the restart here, Tim Creech is leading here.
He gets another good launch, but not nearly as strong as what we saw earlier, though, Carol.
Yeah, it looks like he was a little earlier than the restart zone there, so he got a really good push off the corner, but it looked like his car didn't turn when he got on the gas there. It's cost him. He got a race for the lead here.
Yeah, they're side by side, 4 or 5 rows deep, and we do have a new leader out front. It is the number 8080 of Christopher Smith. Capitalized on the 36, getting a little tight right there.
It looks like the tires are already showing up. Guys are pushing it real hard early here. We got Root. I've raced a lot with Root. He's the guy to watch in this race, being that he's got some track position and he's a proven fast driver here. We're going to see what he can do with the 2 leaders here when he gets up there.
Riding on board with Jeremy Root right here. You can hear how hard they're in the throttle, folks. These cars have a lot of grip out here tonight.
And Creech has dropped back to the 4 spot behind Root. You'll probably see him in your mirror there. Everybody watching at home. That was a costly restart for Creech on the pole there.
As we cycle on through the field here, Justin Coleman in the 00 machine right here behind the number 54, Brandon Elvis. He's a series winner in Crooked Line Racing for sure. Can't remember which car it was, but it was a special event doubleheader. I remember he ended up getting him a win, so congratulations to the 54 car. But he's got a little bit of pressure behind him right here, 00 Justin Coleman. It looks like he's able to attack the corner maybe a little stronger. Maybe Elvis is just protecting the tires a little bit too, though.
It looks like Coleman is getting in there real good and getting pointed early. He looks really good up off the corner. So does Root. We got everybody pretty much singled off here. You know, they're just running their race and trying to pick their spots off one by one. But everybody's singled out, being smart here and running a really good Martinsville race. It's a good thing to see in this league.
Alex C. Harris had a heartbreak of a race. I say heartbreak. He still finished 4th, but man, oh man, the Tormart race last night, he was the guy to beat. Went down pit road. He took 4 tires. Everybody else took 2 tires and just never could get the track position back. So, I mean, just a testament. Track position's king when you come to these short tracks, and especially a track like Martinsville. I mean, it is just front and center king.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually some air at Martinsville, believe it or not. It should not be in here, but at Martinsville, there's some dirty air here. And, you know, the leader has a bit of an advantage and a few guys out there that are really tight. You see Root up on the bumper there. Oh, he turned coming off.
That may result in a parking lot right there, folks. We kind of caught that right there on the corner of our eye perspective. Let's see what happens here.
It's like he rolled the corner a little bit better and misjudged it coming off the corner to me. That's a bummer for the 36. He had the lead at one point there, and I think he made a mistake going down into 1, and it ended up costing them way bigger than just the lead here.
That's kind of a bummer for both, right? They're both going at the back now, and well, if Root claims it, that is. But yeah, just Able to pick up throttle maybe a little quicker right there.
It did look to me like the 36 might have caught the curb there. I'm not 100%, but from the in-car there, it
Oh,
looked like he might have touched the curb.
we're on route right here, and he has big boy problems right now.
It is big boy problems.
He's still there.
Maybe he had a malfunction with his computer. No, it looks like he's rolling now. Just in front of the pace car, saved himself a lap there. Veteran move out of the route car there.
As we have more takers down pit road. Larry Bell taking tires. I saw the right side of that car jack up. That may have been a mistake because they took it off really fast. I don't know if tires actually went on or not there, Carol.
Yeah, 10-4. That it looked to me like the tires went up the right sides anyways. I did not see the lefts go up, but looks like Larry's taking tires and maybe taking a fuel gamble here. He might get himself up to the front near the end of that race.
He might be thinking he's not coming back down pit road. It may be one of them thoughts. As Alex E. Harris, a late comer down pit road. He went around an extra lap, then came down to pit road.
Very interesting.
Interesting call there from Alex E. Harris in the 74 car.
You figure, Tanner, if they can go 60 laps on fuel, maybe Larry Bell is thinking he can make it to the end here and just going to hang out and try and get there on fuel. That's my only guess as to his strategy. It looks like a few more guys went in and took fuel too.
I think, well, they're about 77 laps out right now, 76 laps out, something like that.
That's 16 laps of fuel.
I don't know, man. It's a few cautions, right? A few cautions fall your way. It's definitely possible.
Well, I think it's a viable strategy. At
Absolutely.
Martinsville, it's known to be kind of a wrecky track with guys having different braking points getting
Absolutely.
into the corner. And, you know, we've seen a couple here already.
You shave 5 laps off, roughly, per caution, right? So it's going to be something to see. New race leader out front here for the restart. Let's see how the 80 of Christopher Smith does.
I'm interested to see how Coleman deals with being on the high side here. He's been really fast coming up through there, so be interesting to see how that guy deals with the top and how he gets in line and see what he's got for the leaders. We got Daniel Sweat coming up through there too, Tanner. We haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he wasn't in fifth a few laps ago, so he's come through the field as well.
He started P8. He is currently up 3 spots from where he started on the grid. You are correct. 07, the Evil Knievel machine. It is moving forward. As I noticed, Caleb E. Thompson, he's been one of the best. He had one of the best restarts on the high side that we've saw so far tonight. Granted, we've only saw three of them, I believe. But he was actually able to slot in right back in P2. Didn't lose a whole lot being on that outside lane.
We got a caution here somewhere.
Oh, big stack up. Oh, leaders were coming around here, Carol.
I saw the 36 car involved again, I believe.
Oh, it looks like the 36 and the 43. SDK is being weird, so I got to rewind it back like this. Oh, it looked like a parking lot, actually. Let's see what happens here, Carol. Talk us through it here. 36 on board. Oh.
Looks like a big check up there. It looks like the 89 got in there super hard and tried to check up and kind of rebounded off that guy's bumper when he actually got the car stopped, but then it stopped double when he touched that bumper. Guys behind there's nowhere to go at Martinsville. They're all trying to get turned around, not to get a lap down, and it gets pretty ugly here sometimes. That in South Boston.
You are right. Nowhere to go whenever the wreck happens. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be back momentarily.
Put the power of Southern Shores Realty to work for you. With over 30 professionals in sales and rental management, Southern Shores Realty and I will get the job done right. I'm Rick Thompson, your Outer Banks real estate expert.
Call 261-2000.
I want to thank the entire crew over at Southern Shores and Rick Thompson as trying to see if we had many more takers down pit road. We did indeed. Kyle Wellman back on pit road. See the left side of the car coming up. Maybe Wellman's not taking.
Outside's in the 42.
Maybe Wellman's one of them drivers he's elected not to come back down pit road. Alex E. Harris back on pit road.
Yeah, that 74 car, he's very good with strategy. He's very smart. I run a lot of races with that guy, and he might be thinking long term here as well. I think this could be a smart move for him. He's usually got about 5 different game plans if something goes wrong. So that's a car to watch near the end of the race.
You are right. As Tim Tripler asked, how's the T1S boys out here? They're doing. You currently got Christopher Smith running front and center out front right now. Daniel Sweats P5. Old Todd in the 66, he's P6. Looking pretty strong out here in the T1S Contender Series. As Carol, Sam don't like doing it because he says the broadcaster curse, which, I mean, you almost got to believe it because everybody picks and like something happens, right? But I'm going to put the onus on you and hit me with who's your pick tonight? Who you got?
Well, I'd ordinarily take Brian Zimmerman at Martinsville. He's got some traffic to make up. Mind you, he's halfway through this field already. I don't know what strategy he's on. I'm going to take the double zero car of Justin Coleman. I like his line. I like how patient he's looked coming through the traffic, and I think he's going to be tough to beat out there on the long run.
He is currently up 5 spots as well, so that's a very, very good pick. I'm going to take the 8-0 out front. I know it's like going out on a big limb, right? He's the leader, but he wasn't always the leader. He had to get up there and take the lead away from our race leader prior.
The thing is here, Tanner, at Martinsville, the way the cautions fall, anybody could win this race.
Right.
It's very similar to Talladega, where it's going to be strategy. The guys that are up front here maybe aren't on the same fuel strategy. The other guys that'll get track position at the end, and it's going to be a tough deal at the end of the race to see who's out there.
Looks like a slight stack up on the inside lane, like 3 or 4 rows back. But look at the 54 car of Elvis driving off the cliff and got in there underneath 04. 04 got in the wall a little bit to Caleb.
You see what I was saying there? Coleman, a lot of guys have run in there like a fool and run that guy over. He backed up, gave that man some room. We got another caution on the track.
Another caution on the speedway, and it is not even... Let's see. I don't know who that would be.
I saw it was the center of the corner. Somebody got turned as they exited the corner. Somebody got in the back of them. I mean, it might have been multiple drivers, but
At the 7, I saw. Sorry, folks. This is how we got to do it tonight. At the 01 and the 7. Oh, no. It's...
ooh, it happened in front of those guys. I see Zimmerman with some damage there. We'll see how much he got of that. Looks like the 66 just drove in and got the 6 there when he had to check up. Wow, Zimmerman did a really good job of not taking a ton of damage there. That was a pretty big braking job there he had to do to turn. Luckily in these cars, that shouldn't hurt him too bad.
That's pretty significant, though, right there. But you are right. Luckily, it's Martinsville, right? It may not be that bad. Let's see what it looks like from his cockpit. So, as a driver, that's pretty good because he don't see no damage, right? So, that's a good thing for him. Us drivers, we're very much can be in our head, right? And we see damage like that, it will affect how you drive, right? It's just better not to know you have damage like that and go on about your night.
I'm the first guy complaining when I see it. Oh, I got this, I got that, and my car's not driving right. And, you know, you can be a bit of a diva in the car. You're thinking about winning every second of the race, and when it doesn't go the way you want it to or the way you need it to, you're watching your options drop in front of you as you have problems. As a famous broadcaster, Tanner Marr said one time, I got problems.
I got problems on the golf course, that is for sure. I'm trying to get a good camera angle. Let's see if this one will change and go in the corner for me. The high lane here has so much just dirt and grit up there. Let's see if we can get a good shot right here. Look at all them little marbles up there.
Look at those marbles up there.
You
That's
get
tough
up
to get into.
on these corners. You get up off the fresh concrete right there. You get up there, get up in the marbles. You're gonna have big boy problems then, right? Because that car.
That's an I got problems kind of day.
Right. The car's just naturally going to want to get loose, and it takes a lap or two to even get your tires even cleaned off after that, right? Because they get hot. You build up temperatures when you're racing, and it just makes them sticky, basically like glue, right?
Biggest thing is at Martinsville when you get up there is that car doesn't turn. You got to get the car turned. And to get the car turned, once it gets turned, then there's no grip in the rear end coming off, and it can be issues coming off. I mean, you're lucky if you don't hit the wall if you do it correctly. There's no training for that, Tanner Mar. When you get down into the corner and that car doesn't turn, and then it spins the tires coming off. That's a reaction deal. That becomes talent at that point, as opposed to driving the car the way you're supposed to on the track.
As we're going to let Chris Carroll take this single file restart. Floor is yours, Chris.
We got Christopher Smith taking off here in the lead. We got a few fast cars right behind him. Wow, second place car got a really good start there. That almost looked like a call over Discord, but man, he got a good jump. And Smith has a really good line entering and exiting, man. He pulled a lot on that exit, and he's got himself a lead after the guy was right on him going into turn one.
I was actually fooling with some settings on my end, audio settings, so hopefully that's better. Noticing my mic was flickering around. Like I said, folks, we're rusty. 6 months out of it. Had to rebuild all my OBS today, but good job on the car there, Mr. Chris Carroll. Pretty good in the car. You're pretty good up in the booth, I take it, huh?
I'm trying, man. I'm a bit of a rookie at this. I'm just trying not to be a fool up in here because I know guys like you and Sam are so good at it. I'm just trying to pull my weight here.
Stop it. You make me blush. So, folks, look at this. Brandon Elvis up 3 spots, 54 car. He's he looks pretty quick right now, and he has the track position to boot. Now he just has to try to keep the 80 within striking distance. 80's currently out about 7/10 on him, and that gap is growing. The fastest car on the track last time around was our race leader, Christopher Smith.
Yeah, he's pulling out a lead here. I mean, it's a matter of whether he's using up too much tire to get that lead. We don't know. We don't know what fuel strategy he's on or when he's going to have to pit, so we're going to have to see how this plays out. But he's looking really clean out front. His line looks solid. He looks smooth. You know, you don't see a car stepping out or entering the corner, so he looks pretty good out there.
Look back here at Brian Zimmerman, a driver we saw take a little bit of damage on that under that last caution. Does not look to be affecting him too much. Brian Zimmerman started dead last due to being the winner last week, and he is currently up 11 spots, so he's moving. You got to watch the 28. He's sneaky, right? He'll pull out a tire strategy or something like that whenever he has to start in the back, and he always finds himself to the front, no matter what.
I think right now Zimmerman and Wellman are on the same strategy. I think Alex is probably too, so it's going to be interesting to see how their strategy plays out compared to the leaders, as Christopher Smith has gapped him here. He's walking these guys. We got Elvis trying to find a way to keep up to him, and those guys are working on Elvis trying to get to him. So this is how the race is playing out here. It's single file, but that's what these guys are all thinking. How do I get through this crowd of guys and try and get up after that car in the lead?
The 01 Root, we saw he was involved in the earlier incident when he was running third, I believe. Still mired back here in traffic, really, sitting P17 right now, so has a big mountain to climb ahead of him if he wants to try to get back up inside the top 5 where he started at. He is right now, him and Dalton Creeds, actually, that's the guy he got into the back of. They are our biggest fallers thus far of the race.
It's interesting, Tanner. When that happens, you always seem to run with that guy all night long when
No
you're mad at
matter
him
what.
or he's mad at you. And
Yep.
always seems to play out that way for the next couple races. So you kind of find out who can deal with adversity. But I can tell you this, I've raced a lot with Root. Root's a really fast driver. He can come from the back of any field if he's on. I wouldn't count him out yet. He's got the wheels to get up there. I like Zimmerman's strategy. I like Alex's strategy right now. If they can make it to the end, there's a few guys in the middle of the field that could win this too. The top 20 could win this race.
We got a dirt guy spotted inside the top 7, actually running P7 right now, the 53 of old man Scott Smith. So he's looking pretty stout out here. He's up 3 positions from where he started this race.
He's methodically sliding up there too. If you look, he's gaining time on those guys up at the front, inch by inch, lap by lap. And, you know, Scott's a guy that's learning the pavement. He's really fast on dirt, but it's really nice to see him having a good run up here in Martinsville.
Let's go on board with our race leader here, Carol. You're somebody that has won many races here in Martinsville. Heck, I think you won a few in this car at Martinsville, right? So, we're on board with our race leader, Christopher Smith, right now. Just kind of talk us through what he's feeling for a lap here as he's getting ready to cross start-finish line now.
Well, in the car here, he looks really smooth. His braking point looks really good. He looks like he's doing the same thing every lap. And at Martinsville, that's the key. I mean, guys try and overdrive this place getting in, and they lose time. They try and overdrive the track coming off and catch a wall or spin the tires. But from the in-car here, he looks really smooth. He looks like a robot. And at Martinsville, that's what you got to do, Tanner.
I do notice one thing, but I've seen it every in-car we win in so far. They're really having to turn that wheel to apex this corner, right? Martinsville, I mean, it's called a paperclip for a reason. It's not your typical short track, right? It's a very, very tough track, but that's what one of the keys to the race tonight is protecting that right front. I'm wondering if he is maybe asking too much out of that right front. He has currently a 2-second lead over second place.
We will find out the second half if that's the case. You'll start to see those guys reel him back in if he's running it too hard. But from the in-car there, he looked pretty smooth to me. He looked like he was on a cruise. So at Martinsville, it's all about being smooth, and it's all about being consistent. Consistency here wins races. We got some battles going on behind him now. About mid-pack, they are going at it, Tanner Marr.
And I went over there to look at the chat. Mr. Tripler said his power supply died in his PC. So that's a rather bummer.
We've all been there. That sucks.
45 laps to go here tonight at Martinsville. Only a 100-lap race. So I promise you, I know that sounds like a lot when you hear the number 100. But if you're in the car, you're turning these laps, you're doing about 20 seconds per lap. They click off really fast. That's why you do see guys trying to get everything they can on these restarts especially. And right now, everybody's kind of single-filed out. If you're behind somebody, and even if you are faster than them, it's so tough to pass at. I mean, you got to just be methodical, like you mentioned earlier with Scott Smith. You kind of just got to follow that guy, wait for a mistake to happen.
Yeah, Martinsville is a lot of patience, but we're coming up on pit stops here, Tanner. We know the top guys in the front have not pitted. In the next probably 10 to 15 laps, we're going to see who's got the more fuel. You know, there's a lot of guys that pitted in the back there, and if we have green flag stops here, we could see some changes in the top 5.
You are right. We've had cautions, right? So normally they go about 60 laps. Well, we're right here on the 60-lap mark, and our top 7: Scott Smith on forward, Scott Smith, Todd Lamp, Daniel Sweat, Justin Coleman, Caleb E. Thompson, Brandon Elvis, and our race leader, Christopher Smith. They have all elected to not pit yet, Carol. So those cautions are going to let them go by lap 60 a little bit, but it's not going to take them a lot further, I don't believe. So you are.
Yeah, they've got to be close. I mean, I don't know how much you can save under fuel or under caution here, but I think those guys mid-pack may be snakes in the grass, just waiting for these guys to have to pit under green.
Right now, Brian Zimmerman is the first car who has pitted. He's currently scored in the 8th place position right here behind Scott Smith. There's the
caution the leaders needed right there.
Oh my goodness. I think it may have been Frank Barbary. I just see he went to pit road really quick. I wish I could just click on his name. Oh, there you see it. Oh, may have had a little help from the 34 car.
Ooh, I saw the 34 touch the grass there. You can't do that at Martinsville.
Oh, got a little loose. Brake bias, Carol. Yep. We've seen it twice now.
Yes, sir.
It just starts to step out on him ever so slightly.
Yeah, Frank gave enough room getting in there, and he just a little stiff on the brakes. And that's a tough one. That's a Martinsville racing deal right there. You know, you're racing hard, trying to get all of it, and you lose it just a little bit. We got the leaders pitting on pit road right now, Tanner Marr.
Yep. So the top 7, they had to pit, right? You caught it. They had to pit. I just want to say, Brandon Elvis with a call. He's got off pit road first. Justin Coleman jumped a few spots ahead. Daniel Sweat jumped a few spots ahead. So race leader lost 4 positions on pit road alone.
Well, we have 30. We're going to have about 35 laps to go
And
at
Mama,
Martinsville.
there's that bad man leading the race. He always finds his way to the front. Brian Zimmerman.
We're gonna find out if that damage is really hurting Zimmy. We got teammates up front here, so I think they're gonna help each other on the restart. But we're gonna see how much tire comes in here. Now, I mean, Zimmy, I think pitted, around lap 30, if I remember correctly. Alex and those guys. So we're gonna see how much damage Zimmy has, how much it hurts him, and we're also gonna see how much tires really matter here near the end. We've been waiting to this point at Martinsville to go racing at the end. Everything you've done so far is leading to this point right here to go run for the lead.
You are right. That just gets us to the go point, right? And right at 35 laps to go, it is definitely go time, I do believe, because I said it a while ago, laps click off fast, right? 20 seconds a lap, you get on a green flag run, before you know it, you're taking a white flag.
Yeah, 35 laps to go at Martinsville. I can feel this is going to ratchet up. There's going to be some aggressive driving here. There's going to be some dive bombs. There's going to be some cautions maybe, but we're going to get to racing here. It's going to get pretty exciting.
We'll see if we can talk to Brian Zimmerman really quick. Brian Zimmerman, you're live in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thinking you might be doing better. We're sitting P8, first guy that has pitted, and they had to pit. You got the lead. How you like the car as the lights are off on pace car?
I like the car a lot. I'm the only one on original tires, though. Everybody's got tires in the field but me, so can I hold them off? It's going to be tough.
That's going to be interesting. Well, good luck, Zimmy. Sorry I did not know we were this close to going green.
Oh, no big deal, man. We're always good. You can pull me up during the race. It doesn't bother me.
That's our guy. Go give him hell, Zimmy.
Thank you, bud.
Mr. Brian Zimmerman, USAFirearms.com's very own, I might add. So that's something interesting. We did not know that Zimmy is on fresh rubber, or not fresh rubber. He's on the rubber he started the race with, but look at the launch that the 28 gets.
Jump.
That should allow the 42 to come down, and the 74
look at
might
Alex
be
on
able
the
to get
top
clear
there.
as well.
He's got some momentum on the top. That's a good restart for Alex there.
He does. So Alex C. Harris, Kyle Weldon.
We got a spinner.
Oh, 51 going around. That's Chris Sawyer. Look like he got clipped ever so slightly, and that was a track blocker right there, folks.
That is a big break for these guys in the top four as well. Not being involved, no
I want
damage.
to show you something here. So on this restart, I was watching the 54. I was like, man, he's already been up towards the front. I thought he was going to try to make some moves here, and it looks like I thought he may go 3 wide right here. And then looks what happens, though. This is what happens when you're trying to get everything you can. Just wrong place, kind of wrong time. Didn't mean to clip him, right? Just got into the back of the 51.
Was a big loser there. He got turned from the right. Somebody up top there was trying to get on the brakes, and the brake bias turned him right into him. He's doing a good job of slowing down there, and whoever was on the top there just hooked his right rear with the brake bias. Brake bias seems to be the story of the night tonight, Tanner. These guys... They've got it pretty low, and those cars are turning on the brakes. Tough break for the 07 there. He had a good run going.
If you're Brian Zimmerman, do you like these cautions? Do you like bunching them back up? We always preach tire cycles, right? How they cycle.
Yeah, I think it's advantage Zimmerman every caution that comes out. I think that it's advantage to the top four. The top four are on the same strategy, and I think that's advantage to them. Every yellow that comes out here. 1, there's less laps for them to catch up. 2, I think the tire cycles hurt those speeds. I think you need a long run. You can get 7 or 8, 10 laps out of those cold tires before the other newer tires show up. So I think that's advantage Brian Zimmerman.
We're going to throw it over to BAM Racing Videos one more time, folks, and we'll be back uninterrupted to the finish. We'll be back momentarily. Alrighty, folks, we are back. Sorry to cut that one off a little short, but had to get back to the racing action here as our single file on the restart. 72 of 100, lap 73, 29 laps to go, 28 now here at Martinsville with Brian Zimmerman out front, Kyle Wildman Wellman sitting P2 with Alex E. Harris sitting third. Your freshest tires, though, is Justin Coleman. Well, maybe not. He only had 11-second stop. He may have put 2 tires on. That is very possible.
Got some pressure on Zimmerman here. He's close to that rear bumper there. He got a good run and spun the tires off the last corner. He's got something for him here.
And we talked about it off camera when we went to commercial. 54 car was involved in that wreck. He did not take fault, so was able to keep his position. Did he gamble right then to let the admins make a call? We're going to find out, but he has still scored P5, so it's all that matters right now.
I'm seeing that 4th place car looking really good up off the corner too, Tanner. We got
to the outside, Carroll.
Yeah, he's got a really good drive up off. I wonder if he's got fresher tires than the rest or whether he's driving those tires off.
He had a 11-second stop on lap number 62, so he may have put 2 tires on.
And here comes Brandon Elvis after him up off the corner. This is going to get racy. This is going to get exciting, Tanner Moore. I hope it stays green.
As it looked like Rennick was trying to look underneath Scott Smith. Scott Smith may have closed the door a little bit on him right then. Rennick backed out of it. But yes, it's go time now.
Looking at Scott Smith there too. He's looking real good. He's having a really good run, man. That's impressive for the guy that's learning pavement. I mean, he's in a really strong field here, and he's looking really, really good on throttle. He's looking really good out there tonight.
In Martinsville, it's not an easy short track, right? It's a track that is notoriously very easy to overdrive, right? So for him to come out here and right now running P6, right? That is
a strong P6. He's looking
a very
for
strong P6, right?
But there's multiple places in Martinsville you can overdrive entry and exit. It's all about the center and being able to get the drive off. And you know, it takes a while to learn this place. It's not somewhere you can just come in and do well at. I'm really impressed with Scott Smith right now.
I'm watching Zimmy and Wellman every time off the corner. You can tell Brian Zimmerman, the 28 car, he is on old tires, right? Watch how much higher up off the corner he gets. Well, of course, now that I'm talking about it, he's not going to do it that time. Wellman had a little bit shallow of an exit, just able to drive off the corner. So that may be something to watch as we're going to be 20 laps to go here. Wellman might be able to turn underneath Zimmerman on the exit. He's just got to get there, though. Right now, he's just basically maintaining pace. Last time by, Wellman was a tick faster, but not by much, right?
We got a battle for third right behind that. Alex Harris up on the top, and we've got a couple of guys looking for an extra spot. But I think, to what you were saying, I think Zimmy's on those old tires, and he's got to use them. He's driving it for all it's got, and I think right now Wellman can roll the center to exit just a little bit better, but Zimmy's doing a good job of being right on the edge there and hanging on to a spot.
The 74 car of Alex E. Harris just out there in no man's land right now on the high side. You're just seeing the advantage that the guys on the bottom have, just a big advantage because, like Carol mentioned, these cars, they don't have a ton of power. Now, they have enough power to spin the back tires, right? You will slip the rears a little bit, but you just don't have enough power to basically get the momentum you need on the high side here. And you saw that with Alex E. Harris. He tried to put up a fight, but I think right there, fighting back actually lost him an extra spot. That allowed Elvis to actually drive underneath him as well. But you have to at this point. You got to fight.
I think he made a veteran move there once the second car got under him and just accepted his loss and went back to going on the bottom. But looky here, we got the 00 Dutchy's pick running third here, and he looks like he's catching the leaders. He's got 15 to go. He's got to get by both of them, but those two cars out front are still looking pretty strong. But that 00, if he gets a caution, boy, he's got these two got problems.
I say it every time I'm up here in the booth, but it rings true at Martinsville. Getting to them, that's a small task. Passing them, that is the big task out here. As Kyle Wellman, once again, was almost a full tenth faster than Zimmerman, but just not able to. I mean, you got to be almost three tenths faster than somebody to be able to pass them cleanly here at Martinsville. So
Well, there is another way to do that, and it's called the chrome bumper. And we're getting to 10 to go here. I think the guys up front have got to use it if they want to win. I mean, if they're racing for points, taking their good spot, that's kudos to them. But I think at this point, if you want to win this race, you might have to move the guy in front of you.
As we got a little drone shot here on TrueSimProductions right here. Got a drone flying around the camera. That's a pretty cool camera shot right there. But I still see Wellman. He is able to rotate off the corner better than Zimmerman. That's the only spot that I really see a difference between these two when it comes to pace. But Wellman's just not able to capitalize. He can't. It's like you mentioned a while ago with the air. It's almost like there's a bubble there that Wellman cannot actually get up there and pop.
Well, what's amazing to me is Zimmerman's taking a weird line off of 2. He looks like he's a little bit quicker in 1 and 2 than Wellman, and Wellman makes it back up in 3 and 4. And now Zimmy's running that line in both corners. So I wonder if he's found something here as Wellman gets closer to his bumper. The bad man in the double zeros right there to pounce.
He is indeed.
This is going to get to be a good race at the end here, Tanner. They're starting to tighten up on tires, and those tires are coming into play now. They've got enough laps on them that Zimmy's really starting to hurt. He's got to drive that thing for everything out front, and Wellman's just waiting to pounce, and double zeros hoping they both make a mistake.
I'm curious if Wellman will pounce, being that they're in the same Discord chat together, right? That makes racing against each other a little weird when you're talking to each other all race, right? But I mean, it's hard to win in these leagues, brother. I mean, it's really, really hard. And
he has the Wild Man nickname for a reason.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say. But at the end of the day, his nickname is Wild Man. So you just never know what's going to transpire from that guy.
It's really interesting to see off the corner. Zimmy looks like he's pushy.
He looks tight, don't he?
He's still getting the drive off. Like, the corner exit right there, Wellman's breaking even, but you would expect rolling the center like that, Wellman would get to the bumper.
I think Zimmy is also backing the corners up quite a bit, right? He's able to, he's getting on the throttle basically when he wants to, right? He's not really overdriving the car or anything right now. Oh, as Wellman gets right there, making him a little kiss. Gave him a slight kiss right there on the back bumper.
That answers our question with 7 to go here.
Right. As Zimmy's looking,
54.
Zimmy's looking to be a little loose on corner entry here. I'm telling you, he's starting to really feel those tires now.
He's driving it for all it's worth here. These guys are a little fresher.
I just realized Zimmy pitted on lap 7, by the way. That was the only time Zimmy pitted was lap 7.
Wow, he must have saved some fuel, boy.
He had to save a lot of fuel. Can he go the distance? I mean, that's a lot. That's 93 laps.
Storyline.
That's 93
laps. Can the
laps.
zero get them both? Can the 54? He's putting his name in the hat here. He's creeping up on these guys too. This is starting to be a race here. Martinsville, 5 to go.
Throw a blanket over the top 3 here on TrueSimProductions. Headbutt that thumbs up button. It helps out a ton. Share it out to your friends and family over on your Facebook. As 4 laps to go. Looks like Zimmy. He kind of pulled him a little bit that lap. He just needs to maintain right here. He just needs to maintain. He don't need to try to run from them because you can't run from them now. They're there, right? You just got to maintain and just forget you even have a mirror in that car. Don't never look at it. Look out the windshield. 3 laps to go here at Martinsville.
Who was your pick in this race, Tanner Mar? I don't recall.
Was Christopher Smith. He was involved in a wreck and, yep, broadcaster curse from my end. But your pick is still running strong. Justin Coleman, he is right down the back bumper of Wild Man.
Looking for that spot.
As we have 2 laps to go, popsicle sticks up in the air. Brian Zimmerman looks to be in a great spot as Coleman is there. He is there.
Chrome bumper for P2.
He is there. As Zimmerman, he just wants to see the white flag right here.
Zimmy has turned it on here. He's got a lead now.
Can he go back to back from dead last? Brian Zimmerman in the 28. As man, oh man, the storyline right now though is the double zero going to get there to the 42. As I don't.
Oh, big wreck here, Zimmy. He gets through everyone else. Alex
Harris getting P2.
Wow.
No way. And Wellman's going in reverse.
Guys are plowing in there trying to get through there. What a finish here at Martinsville.
What a joke.
It wasn't pretty.
What are we doing? We got a, that's
One car going backwards. He got his spot.
So your top three. Jeremy Root, the 36 of Creech involved. We got
some boys on the comms too. They're not happy out there.
I mean, I'll be honest, that just dictated the race almost. It did. It changed the top three.
Oh, looks like two guys got together in front. The 6, is that the 34? 04. Well, it looks like to me the 04 just ran him over. Nowhere to go for these guys here. They don't know what's going on. Their spotters aren't telling them. They're just looking for holes. I was impressed with Alex Harris sneaking through there.
Well, look at this, man. I mean, look. This is final lap, guys, and look what we're seeing. What are we doing?
What a drive by Zim there.
What a drive by Alex C. Harris. Watch this.
Absolutely.
Oh
He
my
shot that home.
goodness.
There's a skill in that people don't talk about.
Absolutely. Look. He did. It did part for him. He saw the hole. It parted for him, but he still had to drive through it.
You still got to shoot it.
You still got to drive through that hole. As we missed the burnouts, but folks, there was a lot going on right there on that last lap. If you could,
Sweat and P3.
Daniel Sweat, P3. If you could bring them boys up into the broadcast waiting room for me, as this winning moment is brought to you by BAM Racing Videos. If you like real grassroots racing, check out BAM Racing Videos over on YouTube. He's actually at Millbridge tonight doing some work for, I believe, Dirt Vision. So the kid's doing it big. He goes to so many big asphalt tracks, so many big dirt tracks, and does video work for him. Again, that's BAM Racing Videos over on YouTube.com.
I'm just looking for Daniel Sweat here for you.
As he is our third place finisher, Daniel Sweat.
There we go. We got him up here in the booth, Daniel Sweat. You got Crooked Line boys up here for the interview, Tanner. Go ahead.
Daniel Sweat, brother, you brought that home P3. I don't know how you did it. I don't think you know how you did it. Just chaos there at the end. Talk us through that last lap.
My last lap was very chaotic, man. I was riding behind the 04, and I think he had some contact with.
Yep.
I want to say the 6th in front of him.
Yep.
I didn't see it. I got in the back of him.
There's nowhere to go for you.
And then the next thing I know, I'm crossing the line third. I have no idea what happened. I was just talking to Alex and Zimmy there. Chaotic last lap, man.
Very, very chaotic, but you did bring it home P3. So we talked with some of the drivers, even talked to you prior to tonight's event. What was the car like as the run went on, as you had those older tires on the car? How'd the car feel?
As the run went on, I started out very loose, man. I had to bump the brake bias forward to even really be able to get in the corner like I wanted to. As the run went on there, I was starting to tighten up, getting real tight, rolling through the center. So I started to roll that brake bias back towards the rear, just help it get in a little better on entry. But these cars are very even matched, man. It makes for some good racing when it goes right. And when it goes wrong, it can be a little chaotic, man. Fun nonetheless, though.
Right? Man, oh man, that was one heck of a finish. That's something that's going to go down in TSP and Crooked Line Racing history. It's going to be something that we're probably going to talk about as admins, right? But none of that matters right now. What matters is Daniel Sweat, the Evil Knievel machine, brought it home in P3. Who we got to thank tonight, buddy?
I want to thank you guys, man. Y'all put on a great broadcast every week. No matter who's behind the controls, Sam does a great job. I'm sure y'all did a great job tonight as well. All my T1S guys, we've been just grinding away, trying to get some good finishes with y'all. And yeah, all our sponsors: Roasted Jim's Coffee, Dusty Pete's, Martin Sports, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I know I'm forgetting a few, but we got some good guys behind us, and like I say, we're just trying to grind for some good finishes with you guys.
Right on, Sweat. Well, congratulations. We'll get you back down to your race team. Let you celebrate your P3. One heck of a night.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You too, buddy.
You too, man.
That's Chris. I'm gonna lay out. I'm gonna give you Alex C. Harris and our race winner. Get Mr. Alex C. Harris. He is all yours.
Hey, Alex, Chris Carroll up in the Crooked Line booth here. I gotta say, man, I've watched you progress through the iRacing ranks since I've been on here, and we ran different leagues together. I'm pretty proud to get an interview with you here. But talk me through the beginning of the race, the middle of the race, and how you wound up P2 there, my man.
Well, P2 started out just as a fluke. I started about mid pack, tried to make my way forward, and then kind of took tires early, kind of banking on a long run. When we had a spade of caution, almost got lucky because we were hoping for green flag pit stops would have basically put 3 cars on the lead lap and everyone else multiple laps down. Would turn out not be the case. And after that, I was just trying to hang on and basically got to P5 and just was hanging on for dear life. And eventually the seas parted and I managed to make my way P2. So I'll take that as a day. I would like to thank TIS sponsors and my Monster Energy late model car for getting me to the front. To the front.
I got a couple more questions for you. One, how did the car feel, and how much did tires help you out there?
The car felt pretty planted. It was a little loose on entry, but that I could manage real well. Tires didn't really do as much as I thought it would. Especially toward the latter end, after everybody else pitted, they had probably 40 lap newer tires. They were able to get forward bite maybe for the first 15 laps and then after the first heat cycle, we were about on equal footing. I was able to hold on to the bottom lane, they couldn't pass me on the outside. So I felt like basically you can get most of your positions on the restarts if you had them as if they were double foul, but otherwise tires weren't that big of an issue.
So it would have taken a mistake to get by guys once the tire cycled out. And
right, it was basically you were better off taking tires early and trying to just play the long game, which is what basically I think almost all the leaders ended up finishing P1, P2 did.
The long game got you P2. It got you a top 5 in a really competitive league. Who do you have to thank on that car this week?
Oh, I was going to thank TIS for sponsoring the league. I also want to thank my Monster Energy late model for just, like I said, get me to P2 and all the guys that are sitting on pit road.
Well, I'm proud of you, man. I've seen you since the start, and you're starting to finish better every week. Congrats on your P2, my man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Got to bring Brian Zimmerman up here, Tanner Marr. I'm just grabbing him.
10-4. That was our second place finisher, Mr. Alex C. Harris. He started up towards the front and capitalized on some late race shenanigans to get up there P2, but I think you have found Brian Zimmerman.
I got a few questions for Brian Zimmerman, being my teammate. Number one, Brian Zimmerman, how did you make it on fuel?
Well, I did pit. I pit early. I pitted on lap, I think it was 20, lap 20. So I was able to get enough in. We had enough cautions. I did not take tires, but I was able to get enough fuel in early that I was going to be good late fuel-wise. So that bought us some track position there late when they all had to pit, and we had fuel from earlier in the run. But wow, what a last lap! I thought we had that one wrapped up, and that was an exciting last lap.
Well, that was my second question: is do you have pee running down your leg coming off the floor on the last lap there?
It was funny because we had no idea that was going on. You know, there's last lap, so there was no caution. No one called it out on the radio, so when I'm in the middle of 3, that's the first time I see it. So a big shout out to Creech and Root. They both froze where they were, allowed me to get through there. They just stayed still. Unfortunately, a lot of others, they didn't know what's happening. They all run into the back of a Wellman there because they couldn't see the wreck either. They were just trying to make a move on Wellman, got him sideways, and they just stacked up behind me. But picked my way through it and was able to pull it out there. But, that's why they're never over till they're over.
Man's cruising out front till chaos happens in 4 there. That was a great job driving through the wreck. You and Alex got through there really well, and a few other guys. I think Sweat got through there pretty well too. But so when you were out front there, you got really old tires. The other guys are pitting. We talked to Alex about the tires a little bit. What were you thinking with 35 to go? Did you think you could hold on to that, or were you afraid those guys on the new tires were going to come get you there?
I felt confident enough here at Martinsville that I was going to be fine. We've got some pretty good speed here. I'd saved all race long until I did start running hard. Now with 35 to go, there wasn't any saving left. But up until that last run, I was pretty much saving. I was lifting early and easing in that throttle. I was doing everything I could to save tires early in the race, so we'd have something at the end. But I wasn't saving any of those last 35 laps. Those were 35 qualifying laps. So we were doing everything we could. Wellman, he was quick. I think that if Caleb hadn't have got to him, he'd have had something for me. Once Caleb got to him, started bumping on him a little bit, he was having to deal with him, allowed me to stretch the lead a little bit. Those boys behind me, they had better tires, and if, like I said, if they hadn't have been racing amongst themselves, they would have probably got me.
Yeah, it was a pretty good drive, man. Brian Zimmerman from the back, folks. I know how hard that is to do in these leagues. They're getting super competitive. It's really, really hard to do. It used to be a little bit easier with the choose cone and that. But who do you got to thank on that car this week, Zim? That was a heck of a drive.
We'd definitely like to thank you guys over at Pit Lizard. I'll run with every week. We appreciate you and the boys. But shout out to TIS. That's Tim Tripler's company. Isn't that correct? Do y'all know a little bit about it? Do anybody know much about his company? I don't know a lot about it. Tanner, do you know much about Tim's company?
It is called T1S Racing Wrap. So I think it's a race team, and then it's he paints cars on here. He does Photoshop work. I think he's like a master of all, right? He does a lot of different stuff involved in iRacing.
So T1S boys, if y'all need any wraps or paints done, check with Tim. He's awesome to sponsor our league for us, so shout out to him. He's been a great addition to the league. We're glad that he's here, so we thank him for the sponsorship, and definitely thank you boys. Y'all could have been out here on the race. I know that, but this is both of y'all's one of y'all's favorite tracks, so that was a big sacrifice for y'all to be up in the booth tonight calling the race, but we sure do appreciate it as a league. So thanks for all y'all do.
Well, thank you for that, and I'll invoice you, Zimmy. I appreciate that.
That's right.
This is my favorite track.
That I knew it was, so that's a huge sacrifice, but we sure do appreciate it.
Well, right on, Zimmy. We'll let you get up there to the race admin, and me and Carol, we're going to close up shop. We'll be up there momentarily, buddy. Congratulations on your race win.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good evening.
You too, buddy. All righty, Carol. So this is your second time ever calling a race. Give me your final thoughts before we close up shop here tonight.
Well, I'm always nervous up here in the booth. I mean, you guys and Sam you're so good at this, and I'm just trying to hang out with you, Tanner, and keep up to you. But I think we still have a pretty good race out there. We could have had a lot more cautions at Martinsville. I think these guys did a really, really good job of trying to stay off each other. You know, a few checkups, a few guys self-spinning on the brakes. But I think we saw a good race out there, and I think we saw, honestly, the premier driver right now in this series. I think, you know, there's a few guys out here that are real close, and there's a lot of speed out there, and it's really competitive. But I think we saw a guy work out the problem, get to the front, and stay there. And, you know, these guys are right there behind him. They one slip up, and it's their race. So I think this series is getting really competitive. I think it's getting really, really good. And I think these guys are starting to come around to the fact that they've got to let that race play out a little bit.
Right. You are right. And I totally agree. There's one guy right now. He's won the last two races, so he's going to be looking pretty when it comes to the points picture, right? You missing a race and me not racing anymore. We were pretty close to the top. Now we're not. That's going to really, really open the doors for a lot of people. But I tell you one person who has kind of kicked that door in, and it is Brian Zimmerman winning the last two races. Folks, I want to thank y'all for tuning in as always. I meant to get a graphic put up to where I could show y'all where we're heading at next week, but I forgot. I had a lot going on, but I'll tell you.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to say a shout out to Scott Smith. He was patient out there and got a P4 tonight.
Wow.
So that's a good job, Scott Smith.
Absolutely. You see the results right there. And next Wednesday night, same place, same time, we're going to be hitting Southern National. So, folks, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. If you are still here, headbutt that thumbs up button. Helps out a ton. But for myself, Tanner Moore, and Chris Carroll, I want to thank y'all for hanging out with us here on this Wednesday night. And until next Wednesday night, we'll see ya.